This manga is about reuniting with your guy best friend, who turns out to be the school's most beautiful girl. Remember to support the author and artist by following them on Twitter and buying their manga officially. Links in the description below. Hey everyone, it's T here. The title for today's manga is called... Okay, guys, we are doing way too much with these manga titles. Like, holy shit, that's literally an entire summary. 転校先の清楚可憐な美少女が、昔男子と思って一緒に遊んだ幼馴染だった件. Also known as the case of the neat and beautiful girl at my new school turned out to be my childhood friend who I used to play with thinking she was a... Written by Hibari Yu and drawn by Oya Makina. This manga is an adaptation, and is listed as a shonen, with your usual comedy, romance, and slice of life tags. This manga has been serialized for about 5 years, and it actually just recently ended at 37 chapters. This is a classic childhood friend story that I've been following ever since I first started getting addicted to romantic comedies. And the manga is pretty solid overall. My thoughts on the quote-unquote ending, however, are, well, I'll talk more about it later in this video. For now, let's get into the summary. In the first chapter, we are greeted with a flashback between two kids, as one of them tells the other that they're moving out of the city. The other kid reassures them that they'll be friends forever, even if they're separated far away. They both then make one last pinky promise before they say goodbye, which we then flash forward 7 years ahead to the present. In the present day, the setting transitions to a modern high school, which is where we are introduced to our male main character Kirishima Hayato, giving his introduction on his first day of class in a new school. It turns out that he ended up moving to the same city where his childhood friend Nikaido Haruki moved to 7 years back, and he was optimistic to reunite with his old friend. Hayato's teacher then looks for an open seat for him to sit in, where he asks if the seat next to Nikaido was open. A beautiful girl then gets up from her seat, as she responds back saying that the seat was vacant. Hayato sits down next to her, and thinks to himself how she shared the same surname as his old childhood friend. The girl then catches him glancing at her, which then prompts the two of them to formally greet one another, as Hayato then gets a sense of deja vu as she greets him. After some time when class was over, he was then questioned by his classmates on why he moved from a rural town to the big city. He explained how his dad had to transfer here for work, and explained in further detail to them what living in the countryside was like. He also mentioned his old childhood friend, and all the stupid shit they did together as a kid, saying that he was more of a monkey than an actual human being. After his comment on his childhood friend, we see the girl beside him snap her pen in half with one hand like a Mortal Kombat fatality. After confirming that she was okay, she then told Hayato how it was rather crude of him to describe his childhood friend like that. To which he responds back saying how he was only able to say that because he was his best friend. Seemingly satisfied with his explanation, she turns her head away from him. Fast forward a couple pages, Hayato then meets a girl named Mitake, who is a member of the school's gardening club. There's not really anything important that happens here, they just mostly talk about growing vegetables and some other additional bullshit. What is important though, is that after some time conversing with one another, Nikaido then shows up behind them with a not-so-pleased look on her face. She tells Mitake that the fertilizer she requested has been sent to her club building, which she then scurries off and leaves Hayato and Nikaido alone with one another. Nikaido then makes a snarky comment on how Hayato was already hitting on girls on his first day of transferring, and asks if Mitake was his type. He denies her claim, and says that he only interacted with her because she reminded him of a sheep from his old hometown, to which Nikaido then loses her shit from his odd response. She jokingly tells him how rude he was to strike a conversation with Mitake, only to say that she looks like some old dude's sheep, and how he was still the same person even after all these years. She immediately slaps his back, breaking his spine, which reflexively prompts Hayato to call her Haruki. Before they can say any more, another student calls out to Nikaido for help. As she begins to walk away, Hayato calls after her. She turns back to give him one last cheeky look on her face before disappearing, leaving Hayato with a sudden, sharp realization of who she really is. After some cute moments between Nikaido and Hayato in the middle of class, his classmates then ask him if he wanted to join them for karaoke. Nikaido then gets up from her chair, telling them no, as she explains to them how she promised Hayato how she was going to give him a tour of the school, which his classmates then back off. She then grabs him by the strap of his bag in a rush, which Hayato then asks her where they were going, to which she responds back telling him to just follow her. He tells her to pick up the pace, as he thinks to himself how even though she has changed from the outside, she was still the same person after all these years. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity for the both of them, it was at this moment where they were at last truly united with one another. After some time running, the two of them finally arrive at Haruki's house. Welcome to my humble house, Hayato. There's no one at home right now, so make yourself comfortable, right? Comfortable? I don't know if I can do that. Oh shit. Hold on. Wait here for a moment. I'll clean my room real quick and then you can come upstairs, alright? What? Hey, wait! And there she goes. God damn it.
A few moments later.
Whew! Sorry for the wait. You can come inside now. Wow. Nice room you got here. Come on, bro. Make yourself comfortable. No need to be so tense. If you say so. Oh yeah. I wanted to ask real quick. Who exactly is this monkey you were describing about in class just earlier this morning? I don't remember saying anything of the sort. I gotta say though, you look a whole lot different compared to 7 years back. Is it my face? Well, a lot has happened since you weren't here, and it's how I ended up transforming into the being that I am today. Are you sure something didn't possess you while I was gone? You motherfucker! Alright, you know what? Do you just want to play some Elden Ring? I have the Seamless Co-op mod installed if you're interested. Yeah. Sure, why not? Hours later, when it was getting dark outside, Hayato then tells Haruki that he should probably head back home. He says bye to her as he begins to open the door. However, Haruki makes a gesture to Hayato telling him to wait. She pauses briefly, where she then tells him that she'll see him later, and additionally says welcome back to him with one of the prettiest smiles I've ever seen in my life, which then concludes our first chapter. Overall, for my personal thoughts, this manga is solid. We'll continue to see in the story more and more cute moments between Hayato and Haruki, as a relationship slowly evolves into something much more than just best friends. Something I really wanted to point out that I love about this rom-com is that the childhood friends in the story actually feel like they're childhood friends. Like, Hayato and Haruki's chemistry off of just the first chapter is just so fun to read. The light banter they have, the way they aren't shy to get close with each other, and how they're able to act like themselves when they're alone together, it is just so damn good. However, that is not to say that there aren't any flaws with this manga adaptation, because, well, there certainly are a few. To not dive deep into spoiler territory, the pacing of this manga gets kind of weird the further you read into it. They sometimes bring up what seems like important plot points, an example being when we start to learn more about Haruki's past. But these quote-unquote story arcs are rushed really badly, and aren't covered as in depth as they should be. Like, especially when you get to around the midpoint of this manga, it feels like the story is just getting played in fucking 2x speed. Also, going back to what I said earlier about the ending of this manga, it really isn't an ending. The manga just abruptly ends without any sort of conclusion, and it's because it unfortunately does not adapt the entire light novel series for some reason. I'm assuming the reasoning for this was either the manga sales were falling off and it got axed, or that they only wanted to use the manga as advertisement to promote the original light novel series, which fucking sucks.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
Like, yeah, the pacing in this manga adaptation is kind of off, but I still really enjoyed reading the chemistry between the two main protagonists. And it's a shame that we won't be able to read the actual ending to the story unless you read the light novels. Also, if you haven't already noticed, this story also has an anime adaptation, and it is currently airing at the time this video is out. I've watched the first 2 episodes that have already been released, and I think it's honestly pretty decent. Especially considering how rom-com anime adaptations usually get shafted pretty badly in terms of quality. The animation is overall kind of mid, but the art style is definitely a lot more faithful to the original light novel series, which I do like a lot. Out of everything though, the casting for Haruki is by far the best thing about this anime. As her voice actor Hasegawa Ikumi, the VA for Kita and Ubel, does an amazing job at replicating her cheeky personality. And it really makes Haruki just feel so much more alive in the anime. If you were to ask me, I would personally recommend watching the anime first, and if you like what you see, you can decide for yourself whether you want to read the manga or light novel after that. For my overall rating, I will give this manga a 7.6 out of 10. The manga has a really strong start, and the interactions between Hayato and Haruki are definitely by far the best thing about the story. However, due to pacing issues and the complete dog shit ending we got for this manga, it's really difficult for me to rate this any higher than I have it right now. And it is a complete waste that this manga never finished adapting the original light novels. However, even despite that, I think that the chemistry between the main couple alone is reason enough for you to give this manga a chance. And if you really want to see more of the series, you could just read the original light novels if you wanted to. Once again, oh wait, the manga's already finished. But still, please support the manga by following them on Twitter and buying their manga officially. If y'all enjoyed today's recommendation, do consider subscribing, as I have over 300 plus other manga saved, with much more to come in the future that I have to recommend. Hey y'all, for those of you guys that are into Uma Musume, did you know that they're going to be doing a world tour, and they'll be coming to the US for the first time ever? By the time you're watching this, I'm probably going to be sweating tears and blood trying to get tickets to the concert. Like, I swear to God, the whole process of buying tickets online using AXS or Ticketmaster has got to be top 2 worst consumer experiences of all time, right behind buying Pokemon cards for MSRP. I'll probably post whether or not I get tickets in the YouTube post section, so if I go into a state of severe chronic depression, you'll know why. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.